afternoon. Welcome to MoneyWise for this week. Today is a special day. If you're in Lusaka, we are blessed with some rains. And it just signifies to say the rainy season is here. And in a way, the year is winding down. As we continue to educate each other about different aspects of business, we also have to be thankful with what is happening in our surrounding. October was a month that we spoke about debt management at individual and SME level. And I hope you viewers at home, you learned one or two things. We move on to November. This month until the end of the year, I will dedicate the show mostly to SMEs. As you may know, most businesses will prepare or are preparing now on how we do business in the coming year in 2026. So for the next 7 to 8 weeks before the year ends, we will mainly focus on what do we do as SMEs so that we perform better in the coming year of 2026. As per tradition, viewers, will start with a scripture to set tone and put us in the mood. I take the scripture for this week from Proverbs 22 verse 29, and it says, "Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank." Viewers, basically the message here is skill, excellence, and professionalism will open greater markets and partnerships for your business. This theme is very connected to what we'll be discussing, because there is what we see out there that affects a lot of SMEs, which is some of these, in general, skills lack in most of our SME businesses, and in so we are not able to perform better as SMEs. The topic for the week, viewers, I hope you saw on the ad, and it's even on the screen today. We want to know, how do we grow as SMEs? What are we not doing right as SMEs so that we can grow? Viewers, as always, you can contact us on this show. We are live on Lumen TV on our Top Star channel. We are also live on our Facebook page. You can contact us also from on that page, and also the lines that are listed on our screens. After the break, I will unpack more about today's show, which is SMEs, how do we grow? See you after the break.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial freedom?
Welcome to MoneyWise, your trusted smart guide on how to live and spend healthy. Here at MoneyWise, we're going to teach you on debt management and credit repair.
The show will teach you how to live healthy financially as a family, as an individual, or as a corporate entity.
We'll show you best ways on how to get out of that debt struggle and how to live a financially free life.
The show will also teach you how to budget and save. As you may know, most of us in this country struggle with those two things.
We'll also teach you about loans and borrowing. Where is the best place to borrow? When is the best time to borrow? And how best to maintain a healthy credit life.
Join us then every Thursday on Lumen TV. MoneyWise, a healthy way to live.
See you then.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial freedom?
Okay, welcome back. As I was discussing before we went on a short break, November is a month we've dedicated to SMEs, and we'll talk about SMEs on how we grow. Viewers and those that are SMEs will agree to say the SME journey is not a very easy one. And as we grow as SMEs, we get to go through a lot of turns and twists until we some sort of get it right. The theme of the next 7 episodes until the year ends will be SME Reboot 2026. What we are trying to do is building a profitable businesses through structure. In my line of work, viewers, I get to interact with SMEs. I get to help SMEs as well to function better in their businesses. This can be done through, obviously, coachings, trainings, structuring documents, preparing strategies, and the like. So I get to understand some of the issues that most SMEs will go through and try and help them to overcome those issues. Viewers, the biggest challenge with SMEs is basically, I think, not to find the right customers or competition. But in my line of work, I've come to discover to say the biggest issue affecting most of our SME businesses is actually structure. Why do I say so? Structure in any business, viewers, is a very important aspect to help us run businesses. For instance, today I may pose a question out there. How many of us really know how profitable or how well our businesses are doing? Yes, all of us will come here or will answer to say, my business is profitable. But in no time, you find that your business may be profitable, but you may find that your business is not growing. Then you tend to wonder, what is the issue? I'm able to sell my goods and services, but there is just this element of growth. I cannot open another, say if you may be into a business of selling clothing. Maybe you've got a shop at Chilenje Market or Bauleni, but for you to grow, you would want maybe to open another shop, say at Nyumbayanga Market or any other market. You do make money, but you find yourself in a situation that you are not able to scale, you are not able to grow and get to another market. So the honest answer to why there is this disparity, why is there no correlation between you saying you're profitable, you make profits out of what you grow or what you sell, and your business growing? The biggest issue there comes in because of lack of structure. This is why I'm saying our biggest challenge as SMEs in business isn't competition, but for lack of a better term, it is confusion. I will now break down a few elements that really makes our businesses not to grow or scale. My first point I will talk about is any business, any structured business needs a business model. So you need to model your business in a way that it's able to scale or grow. If there is no model, it's just reacting based on what the day holds, that business will not grow. What do I mean when I say there is no model? All of us get into different types of businesses. For instance, let me pick a common one. For instance, if I run a restaurant business, yes, everyone gets into food business. You get into a restaurant business, you are selling at that restaurant. But if your business is about you reacting on a daily basis based on the current situation of that day, that business doesn't have a model. It's just a reactive business. And therefore, even in its terms of growth, it will really struggle because it's reactive minus having a consistent model. You might ask to say, what is this model is he talking about? A model is basically a line, a systematic way of how you do things. For instance, I will not mention names of restaurants in the food business, but we all know them. These are well known, they are big brands, and they've got a certain model that if you go into that restaurant, you nail them to say, the kind of service or the kind of food they will serve me is this type. That is a model that they work around. And they've adopted that model, they work with that model, and it's able to give them a good business return at the end of the day because they've stuck to it. Even if they see to say it does not work today, they are able to work around it, modify it, refine it so that it continues to sustain and give them the best possible profits that they need at the end of a trading year or a month or whatever. Now, for those that will not grow, they do not have a consistent model. It's just you being in that food industry, you've opened a restaurant, you don't save, you're not consistent with your meals. If people want nshima every day, tomorrow they come, they find to say maybe you've got samp that particular day. So your model is already drifting. It's reactive based on what you feel at that particular point as a business person. What does that do to you? It starts drifting you away because if people will buy into what we some sort of get used to. So if I know to say that restaurant when I go there, every day they serve maybe nshima with fish, then just how you operate, you start changing the menu as and when you wish. That starts chasing away customers. You start losing revenue, and in turn, your profitability goes down. Another issue that makes us not to grow as businesses is weak record keeping. Now, this matter, well, all of us are told at elementary point when we are starting businesses to say some of these things are basics of a business. If you want to be in business for a long time, you have to some sort of have a way in which you keep records. It might not mean you need a proper accounting system or you need people who understand finance to be a part of your business so that you are able to keep those records in a systematic way, even just in a simple way. If you run a small business, you can buy a small handbook. And in there, you are able to record what you are selling, what you are buying. By so doing, you are keeping a record of what is coming in and going out of your business. That really helps at the end of it all because you are able to see the different elements of what is happening in your business. So it's very important that you also record keep. Minus record keeping, how do you keep track and how do you look at what you are doing? At the end of the month, at the end of the year, you don't even know how much you spent or how much you sold because it's just people coming in randomly, they buy. You can't even keep count. By so doing, you may find that the cash that you have in your pocket does not even add to probably maybe what you had put in to buy your stock for that particular business. So record keeping also becomes very, very important for you to scale and grow because you'll be able to keep records and be able to see what you are taking out and what you are bringing in. Another element that most of us small business owners tend to use in our businesses, and is very dangerous, it really doesn't help us much, is poor delegation mechanisms. Yes, most of us will run one-man businesses, but viewers, let's get this, there is no way, or it just can't be all the time that you'll be at that business. A lot of things happen in this world. You may maybe have a meeting elsewhere where you would want to go and maybe solicit or find new business. Who stays at your business or who runs your business? You may have an emergency in the family, you have a bereavement, you have an illness, you have a sickness. Who will be able to run your business at that particular moment? So, in a business, we have to create a certain mechanism that even if we entrust ourselves so much that we are the only ones who can run this business, but for the continuity and for that sustenance of that business, we have to make it a point that we start building other people that we trust, that in the event that we are not there, we are able to delegate some of the tasks that are supposed to be done in that business for it to continue operating even in our absence, so that it continues to make that much needed revenue. Otherwise, if it's a point of just us always being around the business and trying to run the business just as us, it becomes a very big challenge, such that when we are not there, that business will not be there and it will not run the way we are supposed to run it. You will see, to say deliberately, big businesses have set up structures and mechanisms and everything that there is always a business continuity element. Even if the CEO or the chairman or whoever is not there, the business will always run regardless of the current situation. So even in our small businesses, can we try and build a small structure that even when we are not available, the business will still continue to run? Otherwise, a closed shop is not good for any business, because tomorrow if people are used that my shop is open every day and I'm found in a situation that I may not be in the business tomorrow, then tomorrow the business will not open. Then what does that do? That creates a situation that for that particular day you are not able to trade and you are not able to make sales and have that much needed revenue. By you not having that revenue for that particular period or a day, that brings you back to a point of scaling, a point of growing, because that money you are supposed to make today would help you tomorrow to open that next store that you want to open in the other market. Another structure which obviously I've spoken about is the lack of structure. Structure is what we hear in big business called governance. You cannot run a business that just operates. I'm trying to find a better way of something that just operates, because everything I'm trying to think of always has a structure in how it operates. Therefore, a business is of no exception. A business needs structure. Even if you run a one-man business, you need to have some sort of a structure and some sort of accountability to yourself. It's very difficult to do it. Yes, I know if you are, for instance, a sole trader, it's just you and yourself and the business. But even as you are yourself, try by all means to structure yourself. We hear most business professionals or coaches about business. They will teach us to say, you don't pay yourself first before you pay the business. That in itself is a way to show us to say, you create some sort of a structure. The way a normal business would operate, even if you operate alone, it's not a matter of today if I sell something, then the money that I've sold, I can use it as and how I wish. There you are not creating an accountability or structure for your business. Pay yourself at the end of the month like any other big business would do after everything has happened. So create some sort of structure. Try and learn as much from business people, from other business gurus. Create even little structures. If it means creating different books the way a normal business would operate, create that. Create a book on how you market your goods and services. Create that handbook I said of your revenues and expenses. Create a small book of how you procure things, your list of suppliers and stuff like that, so that it has some sort of a small structure that a normal business would ideally operate with. But in a small way, you also operate in a similar fashion. That just creates a normal way of doing things, because if you have to do something, then you refer to those different small notebooks on how you do things. If you have to hire someone else, create even a small policy of how you hire, who you want, stuff like that, the way a normal business would operate. Because when they structure, then everything works in a manner that is structured, and the business will operate and function in a manner that you expect. Added to that, the last point in these 5 pointers that I was giving as to why we don't do well in our businesses, the last point would be weak financial discipline. This is a very, very big issue with us SMEs, because many other times we run businesses. Yes, we don't have anyone to be accountable to. So whatever finances come into the business, sometimes or most of the times we take them as personal finances. And therefore, whatever comes and which is for the business, sometimes we don't even use it for what is intended for the business to grow. We divert it and use it for personal endeavors. When we do that, we are making the business suffer, because the business is a being. The business has to be financed the way we finance other personal agendas. Therefore, now, if the money is coming from that same business and then it has to finance personal agendas, then it becomes a problem. So we need to try, by all means, to work on how we run these businesses. We continue talking about how we grow our businesses, but I've just received a message. This is from Catherine Piri, contacting us from Kalulushi. Catherine, we thank you for the message. I also urge other viewers. The numbers are listed on the screen, and if there are SMEs out there, as we always invite people, please, for the next 8 weeks, you are free to come onto the show so that we feature you. We get to learn how you navigate some of these challenges that we are talking about, so that you teach all of us how do we structure our businesses, that we do not fall in these traps of not having a structure. Before we go on a short ad break, I would just like to ask SMEs, like the way Catherine has sent us that message. If you were a step away, now this is a question to the viewers. I leave it to you. You can continue interacting as Catherine has sent us a message. If you were a step away from your business just for 2 weeks, based on what I've given, would you find your business? As I've given these other few pointers. For lack of a business model, you don't have proper record keeping, you've got poor delegation, you have no structure, and you have a weak financial discipline. Now, if you went away from your business just for 2 weeks, would you find your business running? I need those answers, viewers, as we keep teaching each other. After the break, I'll continue the chat, but I'll dwell more onto building a business structure. Now we've highlighted issues that mostly are found with us SMEs, but now we'll get to teach each other how to build a structure. Continue interacting on the various platforms so that together we get to learn together on how to build a sustainable business. See you after the short ad break.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial freedom?
Welcome to MoneyWise, your trusted smart guide on how to live and spend healthy. Here at MoneyWise, we're going to teach you on debt management and credit repair.
The show will teach you how to live healthy financially as a family, as an individual, or as a corporate entity.
We'll show you best ways on how to get out of that debt struggle and how to live a financially free life.
The show will also teach you how to budget and save. As you may know, most of us in this country struggle with those two things.
We'll also teach you about loans and borrowing. Where is the best place to borrow? When is the best time to borrow? And how best to maintain a healthy credit life.
Join us then every Thursday on Lumen TV. MoneyWise, a healthy way to live.
See you then.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial freedom?
Welcome to MoneyWise, your trusted smart guide on how to live and spend healthy. Here at MoneyWise, we're going to teach you on debt management and credit repair.
The show will teach you how to live healthy financially as a family, as an individual, or as a corporate entity.
We'll show you best ways on how to get out of that debt struggle and how to live a financially free life.
The show will also teach you how to budget and save. As you may know, most of us in this country struggle with those two things.
We'll also teach you about loans and borrowing. Where is the best place to borrow? When is the best time to borrow? And how best to maintain a healthy credit life.
Join us then every Thursday on Lumen TV. MoneyWise, a healthy way to live.
See you then.
Welcome back, viewers. I hope we have answers for the little question that I left before we went on to the break. Just think of it. If you were to step away just for 2 weeks in your business, would your business still run? I would like to learn and hear from various viewers out there so that we get to teach each other. If you've built those few structures around your business so that your business can run. Viewers, numbers to call us on are 077 732 9385 or 076 329 99526. And you can also post your message on our Lumen TV Facebook page. We are live there so that we are able to interact. I know most of us are enjoying the topic for today, and I hope we get to teach each other. If you are an SME out there again that would want to be a part of this show, you come and feature on the show. We learn 1 or 2 things from you so that we can be able to teach each other on how we navigate this SME landscape. It's a very interesting journey, and most of the time we want to grow and become proper corporate institutions, big corporate institutions, and graduate from the SME space. But to do that, we need to educate each other so that we know what did big businesses who started like us do for them to get to a level of becoming big companies. It's about these little things that we are discussing that makes us grow. Because if there is discipline entirely, there is structure in a business, then that business is able to scale and grow and be able to stand and become profitable. If it becomes profitable, the business grows, it's able to employ other people, our economy grows, and everything becomes very well. As we have always heard, SMEs are the engine of every economy, and Zambia is not part of us. Is not out of the equation that if SMEs do well, then this economy will grow. So SMEs, let's continue doing the right things. Let's continue growing. Let's continue structuring our businesses so that we can grow and be able to help and grow this economy together. We come into the second part and final part of our show. For this week, I will look at part of how we grow as SMEs. I will look at now how building a business structure. Remember, before we went on the ad break, I mentioned of 5 pointers that make us as SMEs not grow. And they mainly point to structure as the backbone. So structure, viewers, is the backbone of every profitable business. Without it, even good sales will lead to losses. As I gave an example to say, you may be selling things, but you are not seeing the money. Why is that so? Because of structure. And why I say because of structure is you are selling, you are not record keeping. You are selling, you've got no proper, one of those things we learned. You have no proper delegation such that if you are not in your business for that particular day, then the business will not work. We now get into the 5 pillars, which are more or less the same, but they expound a bit to what we discussed earlier about just the things that we may not do that will land in our businesses not to have structure. So the 5 pillars that will put structure in a business is, at the apex, at the start, is the organizational clarity. On these, viewers, I keep saying it's twofold. I had mentioned to say some of the SMEs, us SMEs, some of the businesses we run are more or less of a solo nature. You are a sole trader, you are an entrepreneur, you just run that business alone. You might ask yourself a question to say, but how do I define roles if I'm the only one in that business? Can I create roles in a sole proprietorship, a business that I just run alone? Yes, you can. For organizational clarity, you may make dummy, as I gave a little example to say, you may even create different books of different aspects, as it were, in a big business. For instance, if you know to say a big business will have different offices, will have a certain structure, a certain organizational structure. A big business will obviously have a chairman, will have a CEO, will have different departments, sales, it will have marketing, will have this. Even you at a small level, you may create some sort of a small structure so that it just gives you some sort of a structure on how your business will run. You will know to say, if I want to procure things in this business, I have listed my suppliers, people who sell me these things for my restaurant in that little book. I will contact John, I will contact Mary, I will contact who for a different good that I need in my business. Like that, you are creating a small structure, because it also gives you a way in which you operate. Such that tomorrow, if I run a restaurant, tomorrow I won't go buy a chicken, today I buy it in this store, tomorrow I'm in that market. It just creates ambiguity and operational confusions, if I may call it that way, on your side. Now, if you've got a list of suppliers, you've created a small book of different suppliers that you know to say, if I want to buy meat, I will contact John. If I want to buy chickens, I will contact Mary. It just creates structure. You know to say this supply will be in your business all the time. Same it goes with record keeping. If you are not keeping records of how much sales you are doing, how much are you spending on what you are buying, it also just creates confusion, because you will not know what goes where and how much you are spending, say, for a month. But if we kept records on how everything works, it just creates a bit of a structure. If you've got 1 or 2 employees, you run a small restaurant, those that help you in a restaurant, create a little book also for their details in there. For instance, if they are sick tomorrow, you don't even know, you've just got their number, you don't even know where they stay. It becomes an issue if there are issues that have happened on their end. So creating a little structure, even if it's not a fully fledged organization, becomes very important for the sustenance and the growth of your business. Therefore, even if it's a small business we run, let us create a small organizational sort of a structure. If you want help, resources are available everywhere these days. You may even Google these things on the internet and be able to get a small document of that sort, just for your business to have some sort of a little organizational structure as you run it. Otherwise, if it's just you and knowing everything in the head, it becomes a bit of a challenge, as these heads consume a lot of things, and sometimes you may forget some of these little important aspects that you need for your business. Another element that you need to note in your business as you build that structure is processes. You need to document processes. It's very important. As I was giving examples of those little books, it's always important to have these things listed. For instance, we were talking of a restaurant. A restaurant, I've seen some restaurants these days, they engage in processes of maybe delivering lunch to certain premises at lunchtime. You need to create a list of those. How do you document them? Put them in a little book. If you are conversant with the internet, create some sort of spreadsheets on the computer and the like, so that it's documented, and you know this is important. If you need to check on your clients, how many orders are they taking for that day? And this is just not for a restaurant. Any kind of a business needs to have processes, because ultimately all businesses deal with clients out there. So if you do not create some sort of documentation around those businesses, it becomes a very difficult thing. You can't keep track of everything in the head. And sometimes like that, we are able to lose clients. We are not able to interact and be able to give that good customer service to clients, because we haven't just put or documented everything in a properly structured manner. So processes are very important. It doesn't matter how small your business is. These processes needs to be put there. It also goes to the element of collections. For instance, if your business supplies goods in a manner that you are paid at a later date, document all that, because at some point you will need payment from these clients. Now, if you just supply goods, then you forget about things. You supplied goods, you took an invoice there, you took a quotation. Those documents, you come with them, you just put them all over. How are you going to know what is due at the end of the month and what you need to be paid for? So all those things need to be documented nicely, put through a nice process, so that when it's time that you need to get back to them, you are able to get to find them in a straightforward manner. Viewers, as I keep saying, this is an interactive show. Please, let's get interacting. Numbers you can interact on are on the screen. You can also drop us a message on our Facebook page on where we are live at the moment, so that we are able to interact. And again, to extend an invitation to any SME out there, for the next 8 weeks, we are talking about growing this sector of SMEs. So if you've got a business, you would want to come and teach us, you would want to come and tell us what you sell out there, please feel free to get in touch on the numbers on the screen, and we'll be able to tell you as and when you come to studio, so that we can feature you on our lovely program, MoneyWise. Otherwise, we continue growing, as we keep saying, growing each other, so that together we can build this SME space. Another element is performance monitoring, because if you don't monitor or look at how your business is doing, then it becomes a very difficult conversation, because how do you know whether your business is going down or is going up? How do you know you are growing? Are you doing the right thing? Therefore, create just a small, and viewers, this what we are learning today is not entirely to put you in a space like you are a big business. It's to put you in a space that you learn to operate as a business, even if you are a small business owner. So these little things, you hear me keep saying, these things can be narrowed even just by a small notebook. You can have them, document them even in a small notebook, as long as they will be giving you some referral point that if you want to check something, you can be able to go there and be able to see some of these important things that are needed for your business. For instance, you need to document what you are selling on a daily basis. You need to document what are your expenses in your business. What are you spending on? You need to document your cash flow. What cash is coming in? How is cash going out? And you need to document all those who owe you out there, because it's pointless to sell in a business if you're unable to get back the monies that you've sold. As I said, not in every business, not everyone pays cash. There are people who get goods today. They will pay you after 30 days or 60 days, whatever contract you have with them. So now if you are not able to keep track of those things, how will you be able to bring in that money back into your business? So let's try by all means to document each and everything that we do in our business, so that it's as a referral point that helps us with growth, that helps us with monitoring just how the business is performing. And remember, viewers, I keep saying SMEs, it's not that you have to be a big business owner to do some of these things in your business. At whatever level your business is, these are some of the little ingredients that will help you to scale, to grow your business, because they give you insight, they give you eyes to say, where are you and how do we move to the next chapter, to the next point of growing our businesses. Another point is, how does your business make decisions? If you scan around, you hear around, from a big business perspective, the world has moved to a point of data analytics, a more digital world, a more data-driven world. And most businesses at that big level are making decisions based on data. Why data? Because data is what we get all around the world. This is what informs us on what we do. Even at small business level, I'll give you an example. If you are to engage in any business, obviously there is always word of mouth out there to say in that corner, for instance, if you do a mobile money business, you will hear to say in that corner there is no booth of anyone who does mobile money. Think I need to do this, then you open a store, a business there. I think we are all being taught, not just here on the show, everywhere, to say businesses have moved in a way that we operate or we grow businesses based on data. Most businesses will do analytics about data and be able to get decisions out, to get information out of that so that they can make decisions of how they move with their businesses. Similar even with small businesses. Let us try by all means to make decisions based on the data that we get around, the data that we get in our communities. It's only that will inform us on what kind of businesses we get into, what do we invest in our business, or how we grow our business to make sure we service those different communities that we operate in. So data-driven decisions become an important element on how we grow business in modern day. The other point, and I think which is the last point on how we structure or grow our business, or how we build a structural kind of a business, is the rhythm. What rhythm do we create for our businesses? What rhythm? I keep narrowing it down to individual level, because most SMEs you discover are run by a sole person, a solo entrepreneur. Therefore, even in that business, because business is a continuous way of doing things, therefore even strategies that happen in that business have to follow in that suit. So the operational rhythm, what really, how do you run it? Do you do individual strategy sessions alone, where you think for your business to say, how do I now grow this business? Do you do that just by yourself? How often do you do it? Do you do it monthly? Do you do it bi-weekly? Do you do it once a week? Do you do it 3 times a week? So that operational rhythm becomes very important. For instance, if you run a grocery store, how often do you do stock take? To just check how much stock is in your store, how much went out. That is what we call operational rhythm. These things that add to how you operate, how often do you do them? Those are important elements in the business also, because they keep you in check. You get to know what is really happening in my business. If you turn a blind eye to that, sometimes you may not even know how much stock is in your business. So to create an operational rhythm also becomes very important. It has to be a part of how we run our businesses. And then lastly, I'll just share a small case study, which again I expect you, our good viewers, to give us a few answers. There's an SME I worked with who doubled their profits. This is a real case study. This customer, as I've been talking about structure, initially they did not have structure. But within 6 months, we tried and put a structure for them by documenting things and enforcing these processes. Within 6 months, they doubled their profits. They did not grow their sales, they did not grow their client base, but just doing these few things that I've spoken about, they were able to see a doubling in their profits. So I can attest and tell you viewers to say, sometimes in business we may think the only way to grow is maybe if I stock up my shop full. But if you don't have a proper structural arrangement, or you don't have proper structures and processes, you may find to say, you may put in whatever you put in your business for it to grow, but it will not grow. Why? Because it's lacking on the structural and processes part. Therefore, today, as as we finish the show, I urge and encourage all SMEs out there to try and put up structures and processes in your business. It doesn't matter what level you are as a business, but try and put these little elements into the business and see your business grow. So that when we invite you, when you come to studio, when we visit your business, you'll be able to tell us a different story. And viewers, as I mentioned about the invite to the studio, we can also visit your business. We can come through to where you operate from. If you allow us, we take you through what we are discussing here, and you explain how you are able to navigate or do some of these processes. How are you creating structure in your business? How are you creating processes in your business that they work for you so that you grow? My friendly tip for this week to viewers, to SMEs is there is absolutely no magic in growing a business. But from my own assessment, working with a lot of SMEs around, the only way to grow your business is to put up structure and put up processes in your business. By so doing, the business itself will show you to say it's moving in the right direction. Viewers, for this week, we end here. Next week, as we continue on this SME growth path, we'll talk about financial discipline and profitability. Remember this element I also mentioned to say this is one of the issues that we find to be a big challenge in small businesses, but we will talk about this issue. How do we as SMEs remain profitable and disciplined, that we do not go back in the pocket of the money that is intended for the business? Viewers, it's been a pleasure hosting you for this week. I see we don't have any, we have a message actually, sorry. Well, the message is basically asking advice that can be given to one who wants to open a business in Zambia. To the person who has sent the message, as you have heard even everywhere from a government perspective, they're encouraging all of us to go into the SME space. We need to open businesses. This is the right time. There's never been any time that is right to open a business. So for you who wants to open a business, the very first few steps you need is identify what opportunities are in this country. Identify opportunities, look at the capacity within you firstly who wants to open the business. Among the opportunities that are there, are you able to fit and be able to run a business within that space? We hear of different sectors that are being told to us, even at governmental level. We have opportunities in agriculture, we have opportunities in mining, we have opportunities in manufacturing, we have opportunities in transport, construction, and all those other sectors. Therefore, within those sectors, browse through, as I spoke of data-driven decisions, look at the data out there. What are your capabilities? Where can you do well? Is it in the energy sector that you start solar mini plant or something of that sort, that you can be able to help us avert the energy crisis that we have as a country? There is big opportunity there. Is it in the manufacturing sector? The rains have started. Are you good at planting things? Are you good at growing things? There is opportunities in the agriculture sector. So weigh yourself. Once you've found a niche, you've seen your capabilities to say, I'm strong in this area. Go for it with the right capital, the right partners. Go for it. Seek expert advice. Look at people who've been in that business that you are going into. Ask a lot of questions. Do the proper due diligence and invest in it. If you are not able to run the business as yourself, hire the right people. There is always right people around. But remember, as per today's topic, put a proper structure for that business and put proper processes for that business to be profitable and work for you. So in a nutshell, to the viewer who has sent us this message, the little advice I can give, which will continue to, you can even pose more questions if you want. Identify the right opportunities, which are all over. We all know sectors that are booming, even at small level. You know, these sectors, sometimes we think if people say, no, I should invest in the energy sector, then it requires big money. No, we hear even in a similar way, you can be able to sell electricity these days. So think of it in those lines. What can you do even if you're a small business person to be able to fit into some of these sectors? Yes, we know of mining becomes like a sector like mining. It becomes a very highly capital intensive sector. But we are being told to say, as Zambians, we can get mining licenses and partner with other people that have got the money so that we can be able to run those mines. There is even an element of artisanal mining where you go in as a small scale miner. Find yourself in that niche. Is it your capability? I've always learned and always seen from people who run businesses to say the best people who've succeeded in businesses are people who run things that they are passionate about. So there has to be passion also. It's something that if you get in, it's not just that if Patrick, I'm running a restaurant, then even you can come and run a restaurant. No. Capabilities and interest in some of these things are very different. So if my strength is running a restaurant, maybe yours is, as I'm saying, going into agriculture and opening a farm and keeping and growing some of these things so that you can be able to sell out there and at the end of the day become a powerful SME, be able to employ others, and together we grow our economy. Viewers, it's been a pleasure. I'm liking the interaction on the show, and we hope these interactions grow. We keep extending an invite to anyone who would want to feature on this show. You might be an SME, you might be anything. And the program is also available for sponsorship, as we keep saying week in, week out. The numbers on how you contact us are on the screen, and we'll be able to assist you. We end the week wishing you all a blessed coming week, and may we continue growing as SMEs so that together we may be able to grow our economy. See you next week, and ciao for this week. Thank you.